Hey everyone, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
We're Chipper. So, there's a real problem today, and it's universal. When the alarm goes off in the morning, and your bed is warm, your bed is comfortable. The world needs effort, and it's cold out there. You don't want to confront it, so you're clever, and you'll come up with whatever ways possible to avoid getting out of bed. People will set multiple alarms in anticipation of turning them off. They'll hit snooze many times. Some will even come up with novelty alarm clocks that won't really guarantee to wake you up, even though they allegedly do. But we've created one simple solution that everyone can use to get up in the morning. Chipper Alarm is a wearable technology for your bed, and it's an intelligent alarm clock that will only stop sounding when you get out of bed. And if you get back in, it's going to turn on again. We even threw batteries in there, so if you unplug it, it'll still go off. It's guaranteed to wake you up in the morning. Here's David, our engineer, to talk about this.
All right, so you guys want to see it?
Yeah.
Got it over here. So your alarm goes off in the morning. Give it a sec. And the only way to turn it off is to get out of bed. And then if you're like me, you get out of bed and you're like, okay, when we get a glass of water, maybe I set my alarm on the other side of the room, so I have to get out of bed to turn it off. But you're like, Twitter, 20 more minutes of my eyes closed, and you get back into bed. Yeah, so you have no option but to get out of bed in the morning. So as far as the technology goes, click. We are using just 30 seconds on technology. So instead of using just some sort of mechanical thing that gets pressed down in itself, we're using a capacitive sensor that measures a wider area and can be built for less money. As we said, we have the battery, so you can't just pull it out. Click, please. And instead of having some old-style clock mechanism on the device itself, where you have to hold multiple buttons and your fingers hurt by the time you program it, we'll just use how people are already used to programming their clocks. You'll just set the alarm times and the settings on your phone, zip it over with some Bluetooth, and then after that, after the Bluetooth program, you can just forget about it. The times will be stored on here. This thing is the thing that rings, and it just waking up early becomes part of your life. So see me after if you want to see the demo.
Hey everybody. So although our prototype is working well already, it's our multidisciplinary team that brings everything together. I'm Jacob. This is my first time. So my name is Jacob Stewart. I'm a third-year math major. I'm mainly in charge of public relations and sleep and patent research for Chipper.
I'm Dylan Brodsky. I'm a first-year business administration major, and I mainly do customer interactions and marketing communications for our team.
As you can already tell, I'm the engineer on the team. I'm doing the hardware development and putting the firmware that's on the chipper itself. And then for the real computer science, not the stuff that electrical engineers can do, we have Fred Wilby doing the mobile app.
By the way, all of our team members are of different years and different majors at Cal Poly. So through customer development, we've identified 3 major customer segments. There are students, whether they're high school students who require extra sleep, but then they still have trouble getting up really early, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Or else college students who already have busy schedules or irregular sleep cycles. Also, there's their parents who have student children who they have to wake up every single morning, and that can be arduous. Or they're college students, they don't even know from miles away, like when we're down in Cal Poly, if we're even getting up for our morning classes in the morning. So. And lastly, there's young professionals who are transitioning into long, rigorous, full-time jobs. So long term, we're looking at putting a sleep tracker in Chipper, which would detect biometrics and tell you more about your sleep process. And also a smart alarm, which would wake you up at the optimal time in the morning in between sleep cycles, so you're more refreshed and not groggy. We're also looking into long-term biomedical applications, such as biometrics, and also using our will be patented design for our sleep sensor for medical patient tracking in their beds in retirement homes, etc. We're also looking into putting in college dormitories and also selling them to institutions.
Now we know our bed looks very impressive on this desk in front of you, but we had to go out into the real world and actually test it to see if it would work. So, to gain this market validation, we sold 5 prototypes to random students at Cal Poly and received feedback from them. So here's what they had to say. Our first tester, Ravi, who's a 4th-year mechanical engineer, said, "I felt more efficient all day due to not wasting time in the morning." And then Jin, who's a little more colorful, said, "It gets my ass up. With the alarm, I physically have to get out of bed in the morning to avoid the noise. Now I can go to bed without any fear of sleeping in." Next year, we'll bring this product to the commercial market so we can wake all of you up reliably too.
So now that you know all about us, you can stay up to date on what we're up to at wakeupchipper.com and our social media, where we're just Wake Up Chipper all across the board. So after everybody's presentations, you can come up and meet us, test out our prototype, take one of our business cards and one of our flyers. Thank you.
So Q&A now?
Question? Oh, yeah. Okay, 3 questions.
You in the back?
It's a fun product, congrats. I was wondering if you could talk more about the technology, the capacitive touch and all that stuff, how exactly it works and where is it embedded out there and things like that. And if I were to remove my pillow, would it still work? And
Yeah, so don't want to go into the exact how it detects it or the exact sensor construction, because that's probably what we will end up patenting. But the overall idea is with capacitance, if you have one object here and another object here, if you put charge onto this object, I should have known that information for capacitance, but with capacitance, you're able to tell when objects are nearby it. So just putting we can show you it afterwards. If you put your hand just very close but don't actually touch it, it'll actually trigger the alarm. So it's the proximity plus the mattress getting a bit more compressed that really is what triggers it. And it goes across the width of the bed, so there's no real area that you can avoid, even though it's only 2 inches wide.
Adding on to that, there are many bed occupancy detection sensors that already exist in the market. They use pressurized sensors. The main problem with this is any heavy items sitting on the bed, anything throughout the day will set this off. But with the capacitance sensor, it makes it so it exclusively goes on in the morning.
I have. It's a really cool idea, but this is like, think of something like a personal use case. I have a dog which goes and sleeps on my bed right after I wake up, so how are you fixing that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, dogs and humans are made out of the same stuff. So, yeah, that actually is a use case that we can't design against. So, yeah.
But turning that weakness into a strength, if you're worried about your dogs climbing on your furniture while you're busy at work during the day, and you have Chipper on your bed, you'll know if they were people because they're made out of the same material. And okay, that was funny. And just to clarify how it works is after the alarm time, there's a window of time, usually about an hour. You'll be able to adjust it once you get that feature in, where just for that hour, you can't go onto your bed. So if you set it for 7 o'clock, if you set it for 7 o'clock and then it's like 8 o'clock and your dog goes on your bed, or you just you really need to take a nap at 8 o'clock in the morning, then it won't ring.
So going off of his question, so you have no plans for allowing the user to set a threshold for the sensor? For instance, like if you have more than one person in the bed, one person wants to wake up, one person would rather keep sleeping, so there's no customization in that sense?
Yeah, so we haven't tested it out with 2 people yet, but I'm an engineer, it's okay. Okay. Yeah, so we haven't worked out that case entirely yet, but what we will probably be able to do is set a chipper on one side of the bed and then on the other side of the bed. And you can set it for just if there's anything on this side of the bed, then ring. And then for the last person to leave the bed, you would set it on if there's someone on either side of the bed. So you can't just like roll over to get out of the other side. It's just whoever has the microphone, I think.
It's a pretty cool idea. Could you also extend it so you can do sleep monitoring during the night in addition to your life?
Okay, yeah, let's put Jacob on it.
So that is something we're looking into, biometrics, circadian rhythm. We're looking into, because David can pull up data of movement on the bed. He's been using it for months already, and it's woken him up reliably. But you can see the data, like as you get onto bed, it spikes up, and as you're moving in bed, it kind of goes a little bit. So that'll be a long-term application.
Yeah, so it tracks motion, and come to me after and I'll show you the giant Excel file with 500,000 data points, and then my math to be like, oh, here's my sleep cycles, and then I realize I'm not getting enough sleep, but it's okay.
Hi. So my question is, I love that you guys make. It's awesome. I have a hard time waking up, but I wanted to know does the battery die or is it plugged into the wall? Because the worst thing that could happen is if I'm relying on this thing and then all of a sudden it's not working in the morning because I didn't charge it. Does it notify me when the battery's low so I know that I need to get it charged?
Yeah, so it's designed to long-term be plugged into the wall. The reason we have the batteries is because if you plug it out, because you want to sleep in, the batteries keep that from happening. So the point of the batteries is to just bridge that gap, run for a couple of days off of that. And we definitely will have a notification of if your batteries are running really low and you need to plug it in again so it charges. But overall, it should stay plugged into the wall.
From a safety standpoint, you obviously have electronics in bed, which can cause some consternation. How are you addressing that, and are you looking at doing under a UL or FM sort of certification to make sure that you're safe and nobody gets burned?
Yeah, that's a really good concern. I wouldn't want to electrocute myself. I only have like once. The best way, it's a long story, vacuum tubes. The best way to keep dangerous electricity away from the bed is just not use dangerous electricity in the first place. So you'll notice